Hello everybody and welcome to the War Room. This one is for this weekend's UFC Fight Night Co-Main Event. Robert Whittaker against Marvin Vettori. Okay, really fun one. Disappointed it's over 3 rounds. I think that would maybe change the potential of the fight shifting in the opposite direction for me if this was 25 minutes. Of course, Rob Whittaker, former champion, very, very skilled individual. Well-rounded as well. We're starting to see more grappling from his game. We're starting to see more wrestling. I do think there are more levels to come to that. I think that he's going to start employing more grappling in his game. I think the fact that he's had successes with his grappling in recent fights, he's going to reaffirm that time training. And this might be the fight to do it. I don't doubt the fact that he might be able to take Marvin Vettori down. And I don't doubt the fact that Robert Whittaker is able to cause Vettori problems on the floor, even though Vettori is the one with the submissions on his record. Okay, quick tale of the tape. So Whittaker and Vettori both stand at 6 foot tall. There's a 1-inch reach advantage to Vettori, although again, both of these guys former welterweights. They don't have massive height or reach for this division. And I do think this is going to be quite a close range fight anyway, with Robert Whittaker trying to find space, as most people do when they're fighting Vettori. 23 wins and 6 losses for Rob Whittaker, compared to 18 wins, 5 losses and a draw for Marvin Vettori, although it is also worth noting that Marvin Vettori has never been stopped. And again, 3 rounds over 5 rounds, I think it'd be easier to stop Vettori in the later rounds when he's starting to get a little bit more reckless and wild. Although he is a bit reckless and wild to begin with, it's going to take something like a head kick to put him down. I don't really think Rob Whittaker's got the punching power to hit him with something clean and hurt him unless he really times it well and walks him onto it. It's going to take something like one of the Rob Whittaker head kicks to put him down. And you look at the ones that he's landed. Derek Brunson came flying at him in the first round, like straight into 5th gear, like just running chaos. And Whittaker was able to deal with it and find that space, head kick, TKO finish. Then you've got the Jacare Souza fight where he's got him circling away and backing against the fence, and he's able to set him up for that head kick with the cross. Like different variety to his game, different ways he can use it. Cannonier, didn't knock him out, but was able to catch him and hurt him with it. I think Rob Whittaker's head kick is going to be a real value to him on the feet. The challenge is going to be keeping enough space between him and Vettori, who is constantly marching forward, to be able to kick and not get smothered at the same time. Whittaker's head kick's nice because he doesn't really turn his hips into it. It's much more of a snap high kick. So there's going to be space for him to kind of creep it up inside Vettori's guard. Southpaw, the orthodox. I think there might be space for Whittaker to use that. But getting closed down against Vettori is going to force Whittaker to be constantly backpedaling, constantly on his toes, or clinching, turning him and holding him against the fence for a minute and breaking. I could also see Whittaker using that tactic. But Vettori's last 4 fights, although of course Whittaker's had plenty of 5-rounders himself, Vettori's last 4 fights have been 5-rounders, and he keeps such a pace on his opponents. I mean, I was just looking at his stats earlier today. Like even the fights where he loses, he's not being outworked. So I mean, let's have a look. So we've got the 2 losses to Adesanya here. Let me have a look at these stats. So Adesanya landed 122 of 208 strikes. And Vettori threw 211 strikes, but he only landed 91. He also scored 4 of 14 takedowns in that first fight. In that second fight. So his pace, even though he's not being as successful as opponents, they're never outworking him. That is less of a problem for Rob Whittaker over 3 rounds than it is over 5. I think if it was over 5, then Vettori is going to be tough enough to work his way through those first 3 rounds and eventually start to get to Rob Whittaker, start to wear him down, and that's when his punches do start to count. Because he's not got massive power in his hands, Vettori. He's very kind of stiff in the way he throws. He's very tight in his midsection. That I think that's what limits his power, and I think he does have enough power to hurt people. He looks like a very physically strong individual, but I feel like he loses it because he has a lack of fluidity. So he has to make up for it with volume and with pace and with aggression. On the other side, Rob Whittaker's quite sneaky and he's quite fluid with his striking, and he is able to stitch things together using one thing to set up the next. So as far as like vocabulary when it comes to striking, I think Whittaker's way ahead. But Vettori can just yell over him. he can just scream over him and just smother whatever Whittaker can do finesse wise. That brings us on to the other side of the game. Now, I think Whittaker's got developing wrestling. We've seen him work for takedowns. We've seen him struggle. His takedown success rate at the moment is 35%, which of course is not great. But then if you look at people who are really successful with their takedowns, they're only sort of 48 to 52% anyway. And he also has a good pace with his takedowns. I've just written a few down. So you've got 4 of 10 against Izzy with 340 of control, 4 of 7 against Gastelum with 419 of control, and 2 of 13 against Till with 229 of control. So he's pushing his opponents, he's smothering his opponents, he's able to take them down and hold them for certain periods of time, or at least hold them against the fence. And I think having that as a second option when Vettori's coming crashing forward, if Whittaker's trying to back up and set him up with that head kick, and he throws it and it bounces off Vettori's neck like it probably will do, and he keeps walking forward like it was nothing, when he gets closed down, Whittaker, instead of being smothered and dealing with that forward pressure of Vettori, or potentially Vettori level changing against the fence like he did against Adesanya quite a lot, Whittaker can switch it on Vettori and make him a bit more hesitant crashing forward by taking the initiative and wrestling, or at least turning him against the fence. So 9 wins on Whittaker's record out of 23 wins. 9 knockouts, 5 submissions, 3 rear naked chokes and 2 arm bars, but they were all pre-UFC. So I kind of take submissions off the table at the moment for Whittaker. It's Vettori that's proved himself with submissions in the UFC. 9 submissions on his record out of 18 wins. 4 rear naked chokes, 3 guillotines, a triangle and a toe hold, and a rear naked choke and a guillotine in the UFC as well. Like, I think Vettori's going to feel very confident if it hits the floor, but I also think he may underestimate the ground skills of Whittaker because they've not been proven as much in the UFC as Vettori's. What else haven't I said? I mean, there's just loads. I went through the record books for these guys, and they're all like Whittaker's top 5 on a lot of different stats among active middleweights. 4th for wins at 11, 3rd for KOs at 4, 4th for decision wins at 7, which again supports the argument that this is going to be a contest of skills over 3 rounds, and I think Whittaker's going to be able to keep Vettori on the end of his strikes, or at least clinch him and smother him. He's not going to play the Vettori game and stand there and trade punches. It's going to be Vettori that has to switch things up, I think, in this one. But this might be the outstanding performance of Vettori's game, and it's going to need to be for beating Rob Whittaker. Here's one other thing. Let me see if I can get this to make sense to you, because it's difficult when I keep throwing numbers at you. I understand that. So total strikes landed. Marvin Vettori is number 6 in the rankings with 1,072. Right behind him at number 7 is Rob Whittaker at 1,029. So as far as total strikes go, it falls slightly in the favour of Marvin Vettori. When it comes to significant strikes, though, Marvin Vettori is at number 5 with 674, and Rob Whittaker's at number 2 with 884. So that again backs up the argument that Vettori's got volume, but it's Whittaker that is more significant with his power when he's striking. He just has to have space for it, and that's the challenge in this fight against Marvin Vettori. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the UFC in France as well. That is a big step forward for mixed martial arts. Okay, enjoy the fights, and I'll see you next time.